Hello, my family. We are just going to be doing some baking today. Today is my all-time baking day. I am behind on so many different things. We are out of everything. And I like to bake a lot because I can freeze it, put it away, and use it as we go. It seems like we have a lot of things, but for the most part, y'all, during my baking, I really just refrigerate it and eat it as I go along, or I freeze it just in case. So I like to do one day when I'm down, and this is one of my down days. So I have, oh my goodness, I have currently fermenting for my sourdough English muffins. I am fixing to make something I love for breakfast, and I have not had it in I don't know how many years. I'm going to be making some cinnamon raisin bread, and I have some egg frittatas to make. I have so much to do, so I just thought you might want to spend some time with me as we start baking and stuff for the holidays. Use our everyday, because y'all, I got eggs. Oh, if I got the eggs, I got to do something with them. So if you're ready, let's just go in the kitchen with me today. All right, y'all. So you're going to see I'm going to be using cinnamon. However, I am trying a new cinnamon. I got this one from Azure Standard, and it's a organic Ceylon, Ceylon cinnamon. This one is actually supposed to help you lower your glycemics. This one has basically more health benefits to it, but as I was reading about cinnamon and the use for diabetics, I also learned a few things that kind of had me disturbed. So this was the other reason why I switched for myself as well. One of the things is well, right now too, for me, I am easing back on some of this diabetic sugar stuff, because I am having it. For me and my husband, we're two different people, and with me, too much is making me swell a lot. So I am actually going to be using natural sweeteners in this, like honey and organic brown sugar that I got from Azure Standard. But I'm also using the Ceylon cinnamon because I've learned there are two types. There's this one, which is a little bit more expensive and a much milder cinnamon. If you take this one, sorry, I got a piece of hair or something in my eye. Lord have mercy. If you were to take this one next to a store-bought, the store-bought smells a whole lot more cinnamony. if I could choose the right words for it, it just smells so much more like cinnamon. However, this one is a lot milder. It's not as strong. Even if you got this in the rolled cinnamon sticks, they're softer than what you get at the grocery store. The biggest difference, and the reason I chose to do Ceylon instead of Cassia. Cassia is the one you naturally get at the grocery stores, just so you know the difference between them. However, Cassia has a toxic ability inside of it that too much of it can be toxic to your system. I did not know this. It's called coumarin, Coumarin. Coumarin within that cinnamon, if you indulge too much, and they're literally saying, and I will do more research on this, but they're saying 1 to 2 teaspoons of this is even too much for our bodies. Y'all, I have used cinnamon all my life, and a lot of it came from the stores. However, I did not know that this was in that cinnamon, and I wondered if I could just do some improvements. So just for the sake of it, I'm doing improvement, and I'm going to be using Ceylon cinnamon instead of cassia, which we get at the grocery store. So like I said, this one's organic, and then I have organic brown sugar that I'm going to be using in this raisin bread, because I am easing back some on the sugar substitute. So when you see me pull this out, yeah, this is what this one is. And then you'll see real brown sugar, and I'm going to be using honey instead of sugar in my bread. So this one will be eaten sparingly by me only anyways. It's going to be basically used for my breakfast. So here we go. All right, y'all. I will be putting the recipe in the description box below, the link to the recipe actually. So this one currently has, this is being used with fresh milled flour. I've been told that you can use all-purpose with these recipes if you wanted to, but just know that you may have to cut down on some of the liquid because mine absorbs more. So I needed 350 grams of hard white wheat, which has been milled, and I need 240 grams of warm temperature water, 33 grams of oil, 60 grams of sugar, which I am using honey instead of regular sugar. You can use whatever sugar source you want. I need 4 grams of vanilla extract. I am bypassing the 13 grams of vital wheat gluten, and she's got 6 grams, which is from Lovely Bell Bakes. She's got 6 grams of flour lecithin. I am using 1 egg instead. And because I'm using 1 egg, I'm cutting back on the liquids by 40 grams. And we're going to mix this. So let me get my vanilla, and I'm going to be mixing this together. I also had to show y'all, I am also organically, I guess you could say, a homemade version. I do not buy vanilla extract anymore, and as you see, I need to make some more of this, so which means I gotta go get some more 80 proof vodka. So yeah, that gives me a chance to make some more of this, because this stuff here is so much better than the store, y'all. I mean, so much better. So this is what I'm using. Okay, y'all, so with all of our ingredients, we're going to start, and this is just going to sit long enough for it to absorb for about 20 minutes. In the meantime, I'm going to go on to something else while this is sitting. I'm not adding my salt nor my yeast just yet. Now I'm going to bring this up just to mix, and then I'm going to turn this off and set it aside to absorb all the liquid. That's it. Now, this is going to sit here covered until 20 minutes from now. At the same time of me doing all this baking, I am actually working on our supper too, because we are going to be having a Swiss and mushroom meatloaf with some herbed brown butter baked mashed potatoes and corn that I had literally canned this year from our own stocks. So I am in the process of very hot roasted garlic, and this is going to be used in our potatoes. I am going to be using yellow potatoes, not russet. Oh yes, this turned out amazing. Can y'all see that caramelized? Ooh, baby, that's good. That is absolutely beautiful. Let me see if I can bring this up to y'all without burning myself. You know how gorgeous that is. You know what's more satisfying, y'all? I don't know if you can hear it, but in the background I have just some instrumental Christmas music. I have various areas which I'm still working on. I will probably do, maybe, there's no guarantee, I may do some Christmas video on what this cabin looks like at Christmas time. But for right now, I'm just listening to my Christmas music instrumental in the background. Nice cup of hot peppermint mocha coffee, baking. Smells so good in this house. This just, if it doesn't spring joy, I don't know what was, but this does. This brings me joy. So, and I'm actually in a really good mood while I'm making this video. All right, y'all, so 20 minutes has been up. We're now going to switch out our paddles for our dough hook. And now we are going to add, because this is fresh milled. Now, if you were using all-purpose flour for this, you wouldn't have to do this step, to be honest, but fresh milled always. So now I'm going to begin my mixer and start adding my salt and my yeast. And then I'm going to be mixing this for 8 to 10 minutes while we get this all incorporated and mixed together. After 8 and 10 minutes, I'm going to be adding our soaked raisins that we've been soaking, about 60 grams of it in hot water. So we'll be back as soon as this is kneaded. Okay, y'all, so it's been about 8 minutes and this dough is looking beautiful. So now at this point, we're going to go ahead and mix in our raisins, and then we're going to mix it for about 2 to 3 minutes from there. I want to make sure all these raisins are incorporated into this dough. And these were drained, by the way. We're going to go ahead and make sure this gets mixed in. Once it's all incorporated into the dough, we'll be back. Alright, y'all, so just like all regular bread, we got our dough mixed in here really good. Get all the remnants off here at the bottom. I'm going to lightly oil this, and we're going to let this rise about 1 to 2 hours, or doubled in size. I'm one-handed here, y'all, so this is slightly sticky dough too, so right. Bring this in here, mix this all up. All right, baby. You go to resting, go to rising, do your thing. We're going to cover you up and put you to bed for a couple hours. Go take a nap, because we got some other things to do now. So on to the next thing. I'll give you guys a little glimpse of Christmas. This is the corner of our room. I'm actually having to get ready to get some wood so we can put a fire in here, because it's getting kind of chilled. That's the TV. We decorated it. Give you the close up. That's actually made with a pool noodle, y'all. And so I get to look at this beauty every day until Christmas. And this is what I'm getting ready to light. Yes, we have an old-fashioned wood burning heater. If the power goes off, as you can see, we can cook on the top of this. I can bake, and it keeps us warm. So I gotta go get some firewood, y'all. Alright, y'all, so while all the breads are English muffins, they're about ready to get started making them into muffins so they could rise for another hour. This is still going and doing its thing in a chilled home right now. Once the fire gets lit, I'm probably going to go put this in the living room so it'll heat up better and have a nice warm atmosphere. In the meantime, I'm going ahead and fixing up our egg frittatas. Okay, y'all, so we're going to start with getting the meatloaf in the oven as well at the same time I'm doing frittatas. So I am using 2 pounds of ground beef that I got from our local butcher, or it's actually a local farmer. And so we went and purchased some hamburger from him. Best thing we ever did. Now, hang on a second. Okay, so this recipe, y'all, is just super simple. I'm just throwing things together. So I have about a half a cup. This is no recipe anywhere. This is just me putting together a meatloaf. So I got about 2 pounds of ground beef, about a half a cup of green onions, about a quarter cup to a half of bell peppers. If I want to, I'm going to check it out here in a bit and see if I need to add more to this. I am going to take some of this beautiful garlic. Then we have our roasted garlic, and I'm going to pop some of that in here as well. Oh man, this is going to be good. The rest of that, I'm also going to add it to our potatoes that I will be boiling up soon, mashing, and then we will be baking it with this herbs and herb butter, brown butter, and garlic. I'm going to go ahead and add all this in it. Okay, be right back. Have to wash my hands, y'all. They got sticky from garlic. I'll be right there with you. Alrighty, now, okay, so I'm going to add 2 farm fresh eggs from our own stocks over here. Okay. Some fresh milled breadcrumbs. This just changes our meatloaf to a whole different level. I'm adding about 3/4 to a cup of breadcrumbs. I'm going to add some Worcestershire sauce to this. We'll be right back. Alright, we're going to add just a little bit of Worcestershire. Now I'm thinking Swiss and mushrooms, so I got to think kind of earthy. So I'm going to add some thyme to this, some salt and pepper. So let's go ahead and get our pepper in here. And then we're going to grate some Parmesan cheese and some Swiss cheese to mix it in with this, and then put some on top. So I'm going to add about a teaspoon or so of thyme. That would be good enough. And we're using thyme leaves, y'all. I might go ahead and just add a little bit of basil to this. There we go. Now I need some salt. Alrighty. We're going to mix this together. And once we get this mixed together, I'm going to start grating our cheese as well. Alright, y'all. I have just a little bit of chunk left of Parmesan. So I'm just going to add this whole thing in it. And then I'm going to add some Swiss to it as well. I'm also going to take 1 jar of my canned mushrooms. I'm going to be dicing these up and adding it to the meat, and then some of it is going to be dressed on top with some of the Swiss that melts over the top of this dish. This should be quite tasty, y'all. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this and then shred some of that Swiss, and we're going to get this in the oven. Alright, y'all, so I have about 4 ounces of shredded Swiss cheese, that little chunk of Parmesan that you've seen, and then I have 1 8-ounce jar of minced mushrooms. And now we're just going to fold this all in here, mix the whole thing up together, and we're going to put this in our baking dish and get this in the oven. Right next, after this, it is time also to start forming our bread, to let it rise an hour, the cinnamon roll, and then I have my fermented English muffins that I've been working on for 8 hours. Those are ready to be made, and let those rise for about an hour as well before we start cooking them up. Y'all, it's a day. It is absolutely a day of cooking, but so worth it. Alright, my dears, so let me go ahead and get this in a dish. We're going to top dress this bad boy, pop this in the oven, and then we're going to get ready on the rest of this stuff. I got to do potatoes too, so we're just going to move down the line, y'all. Okay, y'all, so that's our meatloaf. We're going to take our Swiss cheese on top of this now, over like so. And for now, I'll also, because I don't want it getting too dark on the top, I'll be covering this with aluminum foil while this cooks, and then at the very last of it, we'll be pulling it off. So we'll go ahead and put our Swiss on here, bring some of our mushrooms on top. Oops. Alright, y'all. Now I'm going to be putting aluminum foil up there, and we're going to get this bad boy in the oven, and then we'll be back while we work on our cinnamon raisin bread, getting it ready, and show you how to put that together. Okay, for this loaf, y'all, and as you can see, we are absolutely doubled in size. I'm going to lightly grease my bread pan here. Make sure it's all the way through, like so. And we're going to grease some of our bottom right here because we don't want it to stick. I'm going to set this aside. Alright, just lightly spray that. I'm going to take out our dough here. And we're going to actually make this elongated like this. Press it on out. Kind of square it off a little bit. Just like so. I don't need it no more than this side of my pan. That's a good size right there. And I need a small egg, which I happen to have just the right size. We're going to beat this egg and brush it onto our bread here. Get me a fork right quick. I'm gonna beat this egg. These yolks are so beautiful. I have 2 tablespoons of brown sugar and a tablespoon of cinnamon as well that we're going to be putting on the top. Now we're not going to use all this egg on that, just so y'all know, but it was just, that's the reason why I got a small one, because I knew I wasn't going to use all of it. But I want to brush this egg onto my bread mix. It's going to help keep our cinnamon sugar stuff twisted inside of this, because we're going to roll this up in it. Just like this, we're just going to brush all that egg mix on it. There we go. Good enough. Alright, y'all. Now, at this point, I'm going to take my cinnamon sugar mix here. We're going to spread this all up in it. You want to leave at least a 1/2 inch edge. Just like so. Make this nice and even all the way through here. Yeah, when you hear tablespoons this or 2 tablespoons of that, you think, well, is that even going to be enough? And trust me, it absolutely is enough, as you can see. Alright, so now, taking this end, we're going to start rolling up our bread. And we want to roll it tight because we're going to swirl this in here. Just like so. Tucking in my ends as I go along. Bringing this up. pinching the ends. And I'm going to fold in my edges, just like so. Make sure it's tucked. I want to make sure that my edges are nice and tight. And then we're going to pop this right up into our bread pan, y'all. Just like so. We're going to go ahead and let this rise. That is going to be one beautiful cinnamon raisin bread swirled. Alright, y'all, so this is my mix. I will put the link to the young lady who's teaching how to do this one with fresh milled also. I'm going to spread this dough out. This has been sitting, just basically sourdough, water, and I got too much flour here, y'all. But I need sourdough, water, fresh milled flour. And now what we didn't add is the salt and baking soda. I'm just going to go ahead and do this because we're going to need this in it. I'm going to spread this all over this. Same with this one. Spread it out. Put it here, and then I'm just actually going to sit here and knead until I know this is fully incorporated. And once it's fully incorporated, we'll be right back, y'all. Okay, y'all, so now that we've got that kneaded, we're going to roll this out to about a 1/2 inch thick. And I am using a 3.2 cutter, about the size of a wide mouth canning jar lid. Okay, that's about good. Now we're going to sprinkle, I'm using fresh milled cornmeal on the top of my parchment paper because we're going to let this double in size. So I'm just sprinkling these on here. Okay. Now when I cut these, I don't want to make and seal the edges. I'm just going to take them, press down all the way, and then pull up, y'all. Just like so. And I'm going to continue to keep pulling these or making these up, putting them on our pan. Oh, Lord have mercy, y'all. I'm losing everything. There it is. Okay. I need to find my metal ones, though. I'd prefer them over this. So I'm just going to go ahead now and lay these on top of this cornmeal. We're going to finish that and we'll be right back. Okay, y'all, so we've got our English muffins. They're ready on our pan. Sprinkle these lightly on top with some more cornmeal. And then I'm going to place a clean tea towel on top, set these aside, and let them, for about an hour or so, let them rise. Okay, y'all, I'm going to get this place cleaned up, and then we're going to continue with the rest of our supper. Alright, y'all, so I am now working on the potatoes. I am actually using red potatoes, and I keep the skins on them. It doesn't, you'd think you wouldn't do that for mashed potatoes, but I do, to the extra fiber. And then I'm going to bake these afterwards. We're going to be doing some brown butter, and I'll show you how to do that. Alright, y'all, so we're going to do brown butter, and I'm going to show you how to do this. Brown butter is basically a clarified butter, but it's got a beautiful tone to it afterwards, after it's been cooked down. You've got to watch this very carefully because it will cook really fast otherwise. So, hang on. Yeah, let me go and get some more butter and I'll be right back. Okay, y'all, so I am going to use unsalted. You're welcome to use salted. Either one will work for this. And yeah, y'all, I'm in a t-shirt because it just got hot in this house between the wood heater and now the stove. It's hot up in this place, so we had to change. I'm going to go ahead and let this cook down, and we're going to have to watch it, and I'm going to get it melted, and I'm going to show you at the step next what to do. Now, in the meantime, while our butter is melted, we're going to check our bread and see if our cinnamon raisin, look how beautiful, y'all. That is absolutely gorgeous. Now I'm going to see if this baby is rised up enough or if it needs more. The way to test this is just get a little bit of oil on your fingers, because you don't want your fingers to stick to your dough. You're going to make a finger indentation. If it stays in, it is ready, but if it pops out, it is still rising. So, and this one looks, y'all, like it's ready to go. So we're going to pop this in the oven for about 30-45 minutes or so, until the inside of it is about 190 degrees to 200, and we'll be back. In the meantime, what's coming out of the oven as the bread went in the oven is, y'all, our beautiful meatloaf. Now, we're going to wait. That's the mushrooms on top of that beautiful cheese. Oh, Lord, y'all. So, and I am going to take this meatloaf as soon as it cools down some, put it in another dish and get it up out of the grease. Alright, y'all, so now our butter is melted and you can hear it sizzling. We're going to watch till it gets a brown golden color. This is where the foam is coming up on top, just like you would ghee, only this is turning into brown butter. Like I said, we got to watch it carefully because this will burn super quick otherwise. So once it's turned to brown, I'll show you what it should look like. Okay, y'all, so here is what is considered brown butter in the end of it. That's why I said you got to watch it very carefully. Now, the particles from the butter is clarified now. You get all this foam on top, this will disappear. But if you look, that rich, dark color at the bottom, let me get all this foam out of the way so you can see this. As soon as it cools down some, it'll see it. But you can, let me get it cooled down and I'll show y'all. Okay, there's still going to be some foam, but you can see this coloring now, how it's a nice brown color. This is where you really got to watch it, but this is where it enhances so much with flavor. You'll hear dishes with brown butter and sage for like pasta or gnocchi. This is what they're talking about, this nice rich brown butter right here that has been rendered down just the point till it's golden and that beautiful nutty flavor comes up. Okay, y'all, so my cinnamon raisin bread is done, and now we're going to just brush the top with butter. And I will go through the mashed potato dish with you, and that will probably end this video because I'll be working later this evening, working on English muffins and frittatas for us to have during the week as well. And I don't want you guys to get bored. You just spent the day with me, a life on the homestead basically, and so I'm almost finished with everything, but not quite. So after we get the mashed potatoes in the oven, I'll show you a new way of making mashed potatoes, and then from there, y'all, that's probably going to be the end of this video. So as soon as the potatoes are tender, we'll get to that. Okay, y'all, so we're going to mash our potatoes. You can take the skins off if you choose to. You don't have to do them like I do. I just like the skins on. To me, it adds a little bit. We had these at the Christmas party. They tasted really good that way. So that's the reason I'm doing this. But I'm doing it a little different than what they had. Now I'm going to take some of this brown butter. And we're going to mix it inside of here. The rest is going to go on top, actually. Alright. Now I'm going to add some heavy cream and some heavy cream and sour cream, y'all. I am going to be using an Azure Standard new type. It's a probiotic one. So it's got live cultures in it. So far I love the cream cheese. So I'm going to see about the sour cream. So we'll be right back as soon as I get that. Okie doke, y'all. I'm going to add about a tablespoon or so of the sour cream in here. And go based, again, these recipes are not set in stone, so go based by what you do. I got the wrong one. Be right back, y'all. Okay, I don't know about y'all, but I like mine whipped. So, and this doggone thing is older than me, but it still works. So I'm going to whip my potatoes. Once I get them whipped, we'll come back. That's better. Now that I've got these whipped, I'm going to go ahead and add in our herbs. Number one being our roasted garlic. Y'all know I got to do this one. And we're using the whole head in this. So, but I don't need that. So I'm going to go ahead and finish getting all these out. Once I get all this out of here, we're going to go with the rest of our ingredients. So just, if you do this garlic, please make sure that it's roasted, because it just, roasted is really hard to describe, but it has such an amazing flavor. Okay. All right. So we'll be right back. All right, y'all. So I'm going to add about a teaspoon of parsley, a half a teaspoon of thyme, and some salt and pepper to taste. So that's just a little too much. Then I'm going to mix this all together with the fresh bulb of, as you can see, we got this mixed in that. All of it's going to blend right up in those potatoes when you roast them. That's why I said to take them and roast them, because they'll be so much better and they'll blend all that garlic in it. And I am actually going to add some green onions to this as well. You're welcome to omit that if you don't want to. You can add regular onions if you want, whatever, purple onions, whatever you choose to do. This is one of those recipes, make it yours. Now I'm going to add this inside of a baking dish because we're going to actually bake this. Okay, again, we're going to grease our pan. And then we're going to add our potatoes inside of our pan. Once we get those in there, we're going to smooth it out and we'll be right back. Alright, y'all, you know how I said to make it your own? I did forget the salt and pepper. And considering that we are having mushroom Swiss meatloaf, I'm going to go ahead and add some truffle salt to mine. I think this is going to taste amazing. We're about to find out though. Now I'm going to mix this up real good. I'm going to give it a try right quick to make sure that my flavors are right where I need it to be. And then we'll... Oh yeah. Okay, y'all. So now this is where I'm going to add swirls, kind of like wells, to put this in. Because this is when we're going to add the rest of our brown butter. Kind of skimming it off the top real good, not to get too many of the particles. And just kind of drizzle that brown butter on top. And then we're going to pop this in the oven, 350 degrees, until it's kind of golden brown on the top, just like this. Now I'm going to reserve some of this for later. And this is going in the oven, and once it's done, we'll be back. Give you guys a chance to see my very first loaf of raisin swirl bread. Let's see if I did this right, basically. Oh, yeah, yes. Y'all, I can imagine as it gets further in how much of a swirl this is. I'm satisfied with this. Absolutely satisfied with this. Put this in the toaster oven, or in the toaster. Spread it. Oh, my gosh. Now look, y'all. That is pretty. Yep, my very first loaf, and I am absolutely tickled for this. As we most always know, that very first thing that we try usually doesn't come out perfect, and that's okay. This one didn't. But flavor, oh my gosh, the flavor is absolutely amazing. It makes up for it. The only thing I would do different next time is roll it tighter. My rolls are loose, as I could tell when I was cutting into it. But other than that, that is a beautiful loaf. I'm keeping the recipe, just making sure that next time when I roll it up, I roll it much tighter. So y'all, we are about finished with this video. And there we have, oh, yeah, this smells so good. So I would absolutely recommend this dish for a mashed potato. Even for Christmas, you can add some rosemary to this on top of it. It will just even enhance it even better. So this was a definite yes, yes, yes. Okay, y'all, so as far as recipe for the cinnamon raisin bread, I will put that link in the description box below for you. That way you can do this one. Um, as far as the potatoes, you can pretty much go based. It is super simple. Just make it your own, but there is a basis to how to do that. And I hope you enjoyed being with me on this full day on this homestead, because basically this is what it's like for me every single day. I decided to take you with me. Now, I'm not always baking, but there's always something to do. I even have to get out and clean the outside of the homestead. So, and then I got to do the things on the inside of the homestead. So there's always something to do. My days are never lazy. They're always full. This day I took you on the baking part of it because I have to get caught up because we are out of everything. So until next time, y'all, I hope you enjoyed the day with me, and I look forward to seeing you again. Have an amazing, wonderful weekend. Much, much love from Parton's Mediterranean Homestead.